Hey guys, Paul here at Horn Strength. I got a lot of requests for more information about the sort of poor man's DIY functional trainer that I put together using a barbell and some cables and pulleys that I picked up online. So I was gonna make a slick YouTube video, but I figured you guys just want the information quickly, so we'll just do it with my iPhone. So I'm gonna turn the camera around and I'll walk you through how it works. Okay, so I got these pulleys from Amazon. I don't know the name, I'm sure they're from China, but if you just go on Amazon and look for these red pulleys, they're not very expensive. So I got a bunch of them because I want to do stuff from top down and then bottom up. So and then I set the bar in the rack, and to adjust the height, you have to play with different heights for different exercises. So you got to make sure though that you set the bar on the back of the rack and then pull forward, because otherwise you're gonna pull the bar right off the hooks and onto the floor. So this way, when I pull this way, the bar's stuck here. And then I use collars just to prevent it from sliding in like that. It just makes it a little bit more secure. The pin system that I use, I just had from this company, Angles 90. I've heard there are, that the company Bells of Steel makes a good one. You can also get all of these parts from Amazon as well. So what you're basically looking for is something to hold the pulley, and then you have a loading pin down here. So this is just a pin that the cable attaches to, and then you can load it. So again, I believe the Bells of Steel system, I've read some good reviews about that. It's not that expensive, and I believe it comes with one set of pulleys. The pulleys that the Angles 90 system came with, I didn't really like. They weren't very smooth. So I upgraded to these ones from Amazon, which are actually cheaper. So you can build you can piece together. You don't need to get this from Angles 90. Like, you can just find it on Amazon. But so if you want to do cable crossover or chest flies, you're going to be using one on each side, and they're going to be at the top. And then based on your height, you can just move the J cup in the rack up higher and, find a height that works for you. And then you have these cables here. And again, I got a bunch of different lengths of these from Amazon. You can get all different sizes. So I have a stack here. I probably have too many. I don't think I use all of them, but I have little short ones, and then really long ones, and then medium ones, depending on what I'm trying to do. So it took a lot of trial and error, and I think I ordered more than I needed, but I eventually figured out how to do it. So if you just have one pulley on top, you can do stuff from the top down. This would be your cable crossover kind of work. You can also move one into the middle and then do like tricep work, like press downs or something like that. I've got the lat pull down thing that I use for that, so I don't really need to do that. And then it gets a little more complicated when you want to go and do work from the bottom up. So these would be like low to high chest flies, or if you want to set the incline bench up in the rack, you can do, incline cable flies on the bench. I like that one a lot. So in that case, you need another set of pulleys that are down here at the bottom. So same kind of deal. I actually think that this little attachment down here came with these pulleys. So I think you can find the set. I think everything comes together, and then I just locked it around the bottom of the rack, and then again on this side, so that when I pull forward, the upright stops it from moving, and then it just kind of pulls in this way. You run the cable up from the pin to the top one, and then down through the bottom one, and then I have my handles. Again, I just got these from Amazon. And that way you can see when I pull, I hope this doesn't fall over on the other side. When I'm pulling, it just works nice and smooth like that. These pulleys are surprisingly smooth. I pin this up here because one of the downsides of this setup is that these cables tend to sort of fall out of the slot, and it's just kind of annoying. It gets stuck on the side, you have to fix it. So usually when I find the right tension, I will pin it up here in between sets, and that way it kind of stays set in that little groove. And in this case, I had to use a smaller cable
and then a longer cable, and I just sort of attach them on this side with a little clip. That seems to get me enough height to do like cable Y raises or something like that. For the chest flies, if I'm doing incline chest flies on the bench and I set that up, I can actually just use one really long cable and run it, you know, just like this without having to attach it. But when I'm standing up and I have to have the bar this high, I found that I have to use these two cables, and it clears. It doesn't, you know, this part doesn't run into there, and the loading pin doesn't hit up here. So it takes a little bit of practice to figure out, and trial and error to figure out what height you need. But I just grabbed a bunch of different lengths of cable and messed around with the bar height, moving it up and down until I could find exactly what the right height was for me. And then I wrote it down. So you can actually see, I think I color coded the ends of the cables so I knew which ones were different lengths. And so I have a little thing in my workout log where I just write down, you know, if I'm going to do flies, I need a blue one. And if I'm going to do the Y raises, I need the yellow one plus the short one. And then that, once you go through it once, then the setup's pretty quick and easy. So again, remember, bar goes on the back side. So when you pull forward, you don't pull the bar onto yourself, and then you just adjust it up or down to find the right length for you. It's not as great as a real functional trainer. It can be a little awkward with the different plates moving. Sometimes these things start to swing. They'll like pendulum away from you if you get real excited. So you got to play around with that a little bit, but you know, probably cost with all the cables and all the pulleys. Oh, I didn't even mention, I also put more pulleys down here, and that way I can bring the cables in closer and I can do some bicep work or stuff like that. Or sometimes I'll do like single arm lateral raises and stuff. And it's just nice to have options, because sometimes this thing kind of bangs in here and it can get dicey. So I just routed it on the inside of the rack like that. And that way I get the clearance of the space without having to worry about banging into the upright. So all in all, I don't know, I'm sure I spent less than $100 putting it all together. And it takes a little setup time, you know, but usually in between sets, I can start setting this thing up so I'm ready to go when I'm done with the barbell work. Anyway, hope that helps and answers some questions. And I'll see you guys later.